allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Rice?
Here.
Mr. Ott?
Here.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. The JOC has become aware that members, community members, staff members have raised a sunshine law concern over the vote that was taken at our previous board meeting on 4/18 to authorize the director to seek PDA approval for opening of 2 new programs. This JOC does not believe a sunshine law violation has occurred. We've been discussing opening new programs back to June of 2017. Part of our comprehensive survey, over 50% of responses were wanting an HVAC program. Tonight, I would invite anyone in attendance who wishes to raise concerns about the opening of the 2 new programs to do so during the first public comment period. We appreciate feedback from the public, and for those of you who may not know the process, I would like to remind you that everyone can speak once during each public comment period. There is 1 comment period at the beginning of the meeting for agenda items, and that is for this agenda item only. And then there is 1 public comment period at the end. Comments must be limited to 3 minutes. We ask you to state your name, school district, or connection to the school. All questions should be directed to the chair, and I will listen to all comments, and at the end of the comment period, I will close public comments and respond to the comments that I can. I want to thank you all for coming out tonight, and with that, we can, any agenda item can be commented on in the beginning of public comments. Thank you. So with that, I will open public comment.
Can you bring up the list for us?
I think he still wants to sign his name.
Yeah, we'll start with the list and.
We have to sign in twice if we want to do public comment the first time and then come back the second time?
The sign-up sheet is just for the first public
Are you
comment
going to
period.
speak about both something on the agenda and something off the agenda?
Correct.
Okay, yes.
No.
He says I have to sign it twice.
Depends how you.
Sorry.
Sure, and so if you can either speak at the podium, so you can close the laptop, or wherever you're at. Thank you. Sure, so Mr. Brian Moser, and if you could just state your relationship or residence.
I'm Brian Moser, I'm a construction technology teacher, union president, and I've been here for 20 years. When did all my time begin?
Who's gone on the clock? Who's doing it? So we have.
Okay, this is very interesting. We have a clock today. Okay, because there was an accusation of a sunshine violation, and public comment was the whole issue before, and yes, there was a violation. The public was not allowed to speak about that motion that was made. There was no opportunity for the public to have comment. You guys brought the agenda item in the middle of the meeting, and no one had a chance to speak about it. And I actually spoke up a little bit, and just so you know, the Sunshine Act allows me to interrupt your meeting if there's a perceived violation of the Sunshine Act. And yes, you must allow public comment on every single agenda item. You did not do that. And that is a violation, and he should know that. Either he does, or he reasonably should know that. It's ridiculous. And now, we have a clock for 3 minutes. Why? You haven't done this, I can't remember. When we time people here, you don't want the public input? You don't want to hear what's going on at your school? It's ridiculous, it's shameful. And who decided this, and when did they decide this? Because you surely didn't do it in a public meeting. What, you guys just decided? What, executive session? Because this is not an executive session item. So where did you come up with this, that you're going to limit the time? You never did it before, was it just the leadership? Did the board vote to limit the public input? It's terribly shameful that you do something like this. It's kind of neat because you guys don't answer questions. It's kind of shameful as well. We'll be getting into other things at the last public comment, because I don't want to violate the agenda. But remember, Robert's Rules of Order doesn't only apply to me, because the last meeting, Mr. Ivanowitz, nothing against you, because I think you should be able to break Robert's Rules of Order once in a while. You should be able to. He stepped out of the agenda. And when I tried to, you had asked about was it on the agenda, because we just got done with public comment, we're in the announcement section, and you had asked if it was that on the agenda, and you had the wrong information, it was not on the written agenda the public got. And so that public comment, and I tried to say something, I was silenced. And I have the right to say something if there is a perceived violation of the Sunshine Act. So keep that in mind, and I wish you worried more about, the actual laws of Pennsylvania than you would the Robert's Rules of Order. So that's pretty much all I have to say for this section. But it's, like I said, the clock, where'd that come from? I've been here, how many years? I think once in my entire 20 years did I see that happen. And that was when we were having a big battle over our contract negotiations. And we knew that there was going to be tons of people in the cafeteria. I don't see any controversial agenda items on here. But all of a sudden, we have to be timed to 3 minutes. That's shameful.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Nancy Overton?
Hi, I'm Nancy Overton. I'm a resident of the Palisades District and also an employee of the school for 33 years. I had intended to come last month, but I saw the agenda change and change and change, and I didn't think that the additions of the two programs would be talked about at that meeting. I feel very upset by the fact that all these people, you knew there was going to be a big crowd here, and that you didn't accommodate for them, and there's no chairs for these people, and that individuals directed to make sure that there were no chairs for these people, and I find that very rude and inhospitable. We know change has to come, but we want it to be open and honest and not sneaky and hidden. I'm a special educator here, and our school, I'm sure you're aware, has a special ed population of 40%, which is twice the percentage at the sending districts. And I speak on their behalf that you need to, I know your interest is in improving the rigor of the school and serving your community, but these students are your customers, and we do a great job by them, and we want to keep as many options open to them as possible. And when you decide to close certain programs, and I know you say the opening of some isn't linked to the closing of others, but it seems to be every step of the way that you're affecting a particular population more than others here at the school. And these students are your customers, and they need to be served appropriately. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Overton. I have Diane Penn.
Okay, I'm going to speak at the end, right?
A lot of people didn't realize that you had to sign up
Or 2 times at the end. This is
at the end as well.
Yes.
Both of you have,
I can make a new one here. Speak to you again.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, you have to sign up this week?
Yes,
Yes. Since when?
since today.
today,
A lot of people here today, so
I'm sure you could add your name.
that's not gonna work.
Our sign-up sheet is at the front at every meeting.
never enforced before.
Michael, and pardon me if I mispronounce.
Oh, Mike, yeah.
Oh,
I was gonna speak later on.
okay.
Okay.
Mr. Dean Rutch,
Same thing. Thank you.
Joe Sir,
Yes, I'm going to speak at the end.
Craig Guest,
At the end.
Bill Young,
At the end, please.
Barbara Mandato,
At the end, please.
sure. Carrie Lowe,
I will also be speaking at the end, please.
okay. Stephen Ripper,
Yes. Yes, I'm Stephen Ripper. I'm a resident of Aycock Township, and I was sitting where you're sitting now just a couple of years ago. I served in the JOC board for 4 years and went through 3 different superintendents of record. And I would also like to say that this time clock is kind of out of character with this board in the past. The board's always been very cordial, very easygoing, and didn't set parameters like this on the public before. So that's, to me, is an irregularity that I see for the new policy. But I would like to say, I also, since being a board member, am very interested in the school, and I have been substituting here for 2 years. I've substituted about 7 or 8 different programs and classes, and I'd just like to say that this school needs your help. We've been making cuts, and we've cut into security and discipline, and we need this very much. I know Quakertown is very concerned about security and discipline. They added another officer in the middle school, and why are our people being cut out where we're needed so much? As Mrs. Overton said, we have almost 40% of students with IEPs, students that need special needs, far more than ascending schools have. And these teachers do an excellent job with these students. And if you look at our past NOCTI tests, you'll see the results that these people work very hard and get excellent scores in the state, often leading the state. So I can understand why you're cutting positions when the school, yes, our capacity, I believe, is 800 total. We've been in the 700s and over 700s in the past. We work as efficiently as possible, and I just can't understand why we're cutting these positions. And also with the irregularities of the Sunshine Act, where possibly the superintendent of record is not working the way that he should. I know when I was on the board, the JOC directed the superintendent of record, and that any decisions that were made were to come from the board itself, not necessarily from just the superintendent of record. So I don't know what's going on here, but as having interest in the school and having served on the board, I can tell you that irregularities like that, shouldn't be happening. And we need discipline in this school. We need to support. You're cutting people in areas and doubling up work on other people, and it's unfair when you yourselves have special officers in your schools and we don't have anyone. I also heard that they're cutting the maintenance position or the head of maintenance. I mean, people, we just did a $23 million addition on this school, and there's quite a bit of sophisticated systems here. You're going to parse it out with someone else in the district.
if
But
you'd like to
just
wrap it
consider,
up.
well, just consider those things. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone that didn't sign up or would like to make a little comment about agenda items, welcome, you too. Yes, ma'am?
I have a question. My name is Sandra Hendricks. I am the parent of a Judy from Television.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I'm a little confused because I don't know if the landscape construction program is on the agenda or not. So do I speak now? Or the clipboard didn't have it on. Wasn't on the agenda when I looked today. Okay, so that would be at the end? Yes. Okay, thanks.
Is there any other public comment relating to agenda items? Yes, sir.
Not necessarily agenda, but why don't we have a seat?
This is good. We could move to the cafeteria if you vote.
I just wonder why we don't have a seat.
You know, 11 months in the year, there's 4 people sitting there.
I'm happy to move to the cafeteria if you'd like. You wanna do All right. So any other public comment?
Yeah.
Seeing none, we will move on. Thank you all who spoke. I appreciate your time. I do need to make an announcement that following our 418 meeting, we did have an executive session. Following that meeting, we discussed negotiation of personnel matters. Preceding this meeting this evening, we had a negotiation discussing negotiations and personnel matters. No, we are on number 5 of our agenda, administrative reports. First up is director's report.
Thank
Mr.
you, Ms.
Fuda.
Bowman. We have a lot of positive stuff going on in our school. The first thing we're going to talk about are some of our donations that we received this past month. Christine Swanson donated a Suzuki Patina 600 complete motorcycle with title for $1,000 for a small engine. Technology program, Wachowski Family Dentistry donated a Velopex Intraroll Daylight Motor Automatic Processor for $500 for our dental careers program. Milwaukee Tools donated assorted Milwaukee hand tools, 3 tape measures, 3 table strippers, 3 wire strippers, 1 tool bag, gifts for outstanding students of a value of $415 for our electrical technology program. Michael Bowden donated a 1 auto floor jack for $100 for our auto collision program. And we had an anonymous donation of 15 seniors to receive a $50 Amazon gift card. And Mrs. Strunk and Mrs. Dinsmore to each receive a $75 Amazon gift card for a total estimated value of $900 for our health career students. So that's pretty amazing donation list that we've accomplished so far. Some other positives we had going on. We had our student award ceremony will be held May 21st at 6 p.m. here in the cafeteria. We wanted to recognize all of our students, and we wanted to bring our families in to see all of the hard work that our students have been doing throughout the year. I believe we have over 200 people RSVPing.
500.
Oh, 500. Even better. So we have 500 people that will be coming in. I invite all of the JLC to come in. Our senior ceremony, our graduation will be June 3rd, 7 p.m. at Pennridge High School. We have our summer camp coming up. It'll be held June 23rd to the 27th, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. where we'll be having our grades 3 to 5. So they'll come in and they'll be doing some cool projects throughout those 4 days. And then from 12 to 3, we're going to have grades 6 through 8 come in. So that's another addition to our many of additions that we've been adding for the last couple of months now. Boy Scouts camp acknowledgement, Dr. Herrera will be speaking on that.
Mr. Anderson.
He's outside, I'm waving him in.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mr. Gunderson, up to the front of the podium, please.
I wasn't expecting such a crowd.
It's all for you.
Dr. Harner and distinguished members of the JOC, thank you for your support and encouragement of last month's community service project at Cox Camp, Nixon. Thank you. This 3-day, 2-night field trip gave our students many opportunities to solve real-world problems while serving the community. Mr. Moser, can you also please come up? A sincere thank you to Mr. Brian Moser, Mrs. Laura Bradford, and members of the Construction Technology Program for a job well done. The high level of craftsmanship, work ethic, and pride was evident each time I visited and was a testament to your leadership. These words were echoed, and we have Mr. Gunderson here to say some nice words in a letter. And I'd also like to show some of the pictures from the trip, the before and afters, which if you didn't see it, you wouldn't believe it. So,
Sure. Well, so Occonegan is about 75 years old. It's a Boy Scout camp. It's rustic, to say the least. It's not your Holiday Inn or a glamping facility. So we're always looking for continuous improvements, etc. And we reached out to the upper clubs several years ago, and know Dr. Harner as well. Took about 2 years of planning, and we came to fruition. And it was a wonderful experience seeing the kids working together. I even got up on the roof one afternoon with some of them and did some demo work, which you probably will see later. It was a fun time. Thank you for allowing this to happen. I hope that it will be a continuous partnership moving forward. So, thank you.
Along those same lines, I'm pleased to announce that 2 of our students at this time this month earned their Eagle Scouts. Raymond Slifer, would you please come up? Raymond Slifer is a distinguished Level 2 machining technology student at Upper Bucks County Technical School and a sophomore from the Quakertown School District. Raymond designed and built 36 new gear lockers, complete with nameplates for his Eagle Scout project. This worthwhile activity providing members with much-needed space. Raymond credits some of the technical and networking skills he learned from Mr. Rock in the program and Broccolante Manufacturing Group for his success, along with his parents, who both also volunteer at the company's fire police. Ray plans to train to become a full-fledged member when he turns 18. Ray, congratulations and thank you for that project. Mr. Rock, would you like to add anything, or? Okay. Thumbs up, we appreciate it. Thank you to the parents. Matthew Turner, can you please come up? Matthew Turner is a distinguished Level 2 welding technology student at Upper Bucks and a junior from the Pennridge School District. Matt started at Boy Scout Troop 79 in Percy as a first grader, so a work in progress. He remodeled the bell tower of the First United Church in Percy for his Eagle Scout project, utilizing some of the skills he's learned in welding. Matt's teacher brought his accomplishment to our attention, stating he's a great student with a very, very bright future, and we're very proud of him. We're also very proud of Matt and Raymond, and thankful to their parents for sending them to our school. And congratulations, Matt Turner, for your accomplishment.
And actually, we have a transition for a third, and I'm going to give it the podium to Mrs. Hill.
Reese, can you come up here, please? You don't want to be in the corner over there. So I am presenting Reese Campbell. He's our student of the month for the month of May, our last student of the month for the year 2019. Reese is a Quakertown student in our machining program. He started here as a sophomore, and while in this program, and I think Mr. Rook can attest to this, he enjoys milling. Like, if you talk to him and ask him what he likes about machining, it's just milling, nothing else but milling. So he knows what he likes.
Trying to say he's always billing around?
So he is a member of the National Technical Honor Society. He has earned first honors numerous times during his 3 years. He competed at Skills USA in what competition?
Milling?
See, I want you to say it. We had to twist his arm to compete. Where's mom and dad? Twist his, I had to call mom and say, this kid needs to compete. Because he's not going into a future with machining. So he did not want to compete because he did not want to take the spot of someone else that really wanted to do it. But we talked him into it, and he placed first. Imagine that. Placed first at districts, so he went to states, and he's saying, I got second, Miss Hill, and he earned second at states, so that's why he has on his medal there, so congratulations for that. Reese was placed on co-op, and he is working at Lutron at the beginning of this year. So this is an unusual student of the month for me. I usually get to sit down and interview the kids. Reese and I have talked a lot over the course of the year, but when it came time to do an interview, he was working at co-op, or I was at signing events or in a meeting, and we never got to connect. So his mom and I were on the emailing, so she was answering these questions for me. So thank you for that. So what is Reese going to do when he graduates? He's going to Buckstown Community College. So for the board members here, he did our tech program, so he is walking out of here with 29 credits and will have his associate's degree in 1 year from Bucks County Community College. And then Reese is an avid BMX rider, and that's what he does in his spare time, so we kind of have that in common. I asked Reese, or his mom, to say, tell me something about Reese that we wouldn't know. And it is the fact that he is an Eagle Scout. I had no idea. No idea. Very quiet. Yep, we got another one. And a sweet tooth. She didn't share that with me. I think we got some sweets over there. But I do not know what project you did. Would you like to share?
I did, I forget the name of where the camp I did it at yet. But I built boat racks down by their lake there, and I also built benches around their fire room.
Great.
Tabasco?
Tabasco. We have been very lucky to have Reese as one of our students. He has had amazing success in machining, and I am sure he will continue to have success in whatever he chooses to do. Thank you, parents, for letting us have him.
Reese, on behalf of the JLC administration, faculty, staff, we present you with the Student of the Month plaque. Congratulations.
Board, I just want to say something. I want to thank you for having the opportunity to work at this school. I've worked for 31 years as an educator in this community. I've touched over thousands of students' lives. And the tech kids and the parents have always had a soft spot in my heart. I love them, and that's why I chose to come here. That being said, with a very heavy heart, I am resigning my position as supervisor of student services effective right now.
Oh, no.
Thank you very much.
Good job, board.
This is what's happening here.
That's a big dream.
This is what's happening.
This is crazy.
Open your eyes.
In months.
like to bring up Andrew, Josh, Nathan, Gregory, James, and Mr. Basante.
Wow. You guys need to take 5. That's crazy. This is insane.
So, our mechatronics students competed last weekend down in Montgomeryville in a robotic competition. It was the first ever robotic competition being held. How many schools did you compete against?
8 other schools, 9 teams.
8 other schools, 9 teams in a cage match of robots. So they devised their robot, which was called Swiss cheese. Correct?
Swiss cheese.
What is it?
Free
Swiss cheese. And they're going to give you a brief demonstration of what it actually did, and it destroyed all of the other competitors. So not only did they take first place, they won the grand championship for that program, and then they brought home the coolest robot award as well.
Let me get a picture.
So it's not running the best right now because we completely destroyed the motors at the very last battle. So they're running off of very little power right now. So it can't do everything we planned for it to do.
Yeah.
We are too. Yeah.
And didn't you say that was because of weight, because you made yours lightweight and so you were able to put a bigger motor?
Not necessarily. We just we're putting more voltage into the motors than what they're designed for. So they're getting really hot very quick, and then the fans inside them are melting. So.
And how many did you go through with the competition?
4?
Yeah, something like that.
4.
I could
smell them burning.
Yeah, it was pretty fun having to take them all apart and put them together as fast as we could.
The very last competition, the entire arena smelled of burning.
It's kind of starting to smell.
Does it do any functions, like the top flip up, or the spike come out?
No. So we actually made the spike not move. So we would use our own motion to stab into them, or like if we got a drum spinner, which is something on the front that spins, it could get caught in there, or like even destroy a belt that they had, or even their tires.
And of course, they sharpened the edges.
Yeah.
So when it was spinning, it would cut into the competitors' robots.
So are there parameters you had to follow, like it had to be so long, like with height, weight?
Yeah, no less than 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot.
Okay.
And then no more than 15 pounds, which this is exactly 15 pounds.
Exactly 15 pounds.
Exactly.
More than 50.
It'd be no more, yeah.
No more.
No, yeah.
No fire for hydraulics.
Yeah.
Couldn't shoot
No fire, yeah. That's
This has accidental fires, not purposeful fires.
Yeah. This.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite part of building?
In my opinion, it's just like being with all these people. Like we've grown so close with each other just from building this robot, and that's honestly my favorite part.
It stinks right now.
Yeah. So every year now that we are the grand champions, so we have to follow that. And you know, how many of you guys are returning? That's it. So this is going to sit in our trophy case as our first grand champion trophy. So that'll be there forever. They signed it for us, so we know who they are. 20 years down the road, that they are the first. and ever grand champions right now at Upper Buck. So congratulations, guys.
Mr. Sweeter, can you ask these young men to tell them about
Oh, yeah,
their
absolutely.
summer internships in the mechatronics field this summer? All of them are employed in their field?
Absolutely. Why don't we start here?
All right, so I am working at Pac Pro Inc., which is in like Hatfield, Souderton, and I will be working there just for the summer, and then starting at Penn State University for mechanical engineering.
Good for you.
I'm Russ Leiber from Patriots Academy. I will be working at Solar Atmospheres during the summer. I've been employed there for about a year now, and after the summer, I will be continuing my education at University of Northwestern Ohio for robotics and automation field.
I am James Klein from Quakertown High School. I plan on going into Knowles Incorporated for a short summer internship this year, and hopefully have a different internship next year and stay there. Awesome.
I'm Nate Carucci. I go to Quakertown High School. This summer I will be attending at Poly Sciences Incorporated, and that will possibly move into a co-op through the next year.
Thank you, guys. Congratulations again. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Girls got pretty sharp today. Hey guys, hold on. Hold on.
That is very cool. I'm so excited when we heard you were going. Congratulations, best of luck. Congratulations. That's so good. Congratulations.
Tracy. She's cool. See that? Yeah. She was upset. Yes.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah. I'm sorry to see her go.
Okay,
We're also proud, one more accomplishment, Kyle Mason, a former student of mine, and also an Eagle Scout, which seems to be the trend tonight.
Yes.
We're proud to announce he took third in the state for and testament to Kyle and his instructor, Mr. Young. If you don't mind, if you would say a few things about Kyle.
I would hope to have a whole class full of Kyles.
So we know Kyle as former student of the month, and that's great, Kyle. Congratulations again. Thank you.
Some other good news, the food truck has arrived on campus. It's in the process of being spruced up. We have a partnership with graphic imaging. They're working with our graphics communication students. We're working on the wrap design. The truck is pretty awesome. The kids are going to be, they just can't wait to get on there and start, looking at their food. They're coming up with a menu, business plan, and all the programs we'll be working on that to get that thing done. And we're hoping a soft opening either the end of May or the first week of June. So give you a quick update on that. Another good news is we're one of 4 career tech centers in the state that received the school safety grant for Pennsylvania Commissions on Crime and Delinquency of $9,500. So that's another big accomplishment. Thanks to Dr. Herrera for writing out the grant and crossing those fingers to have that grant come in. So we're going to be purchasing cameras for the outside and some more cameras on the inside, some of them that can zoom in and out. Some of the ones that we have right now are a little antiquated, so we're going to update all of our cameras. Any other comments on what else we use, or just basically our cameras?
navigate prepared. It's a system for allowing us to develop our safety plans, develop flip charts, et cetera. So we're excited that a number of the districts have that. We'll be working through the IU to get a discount price for that, and looking forward to implement that for next year.
Okay. Next, we'll have our skills winners. Are any of our students here? We're going to recognize the third place finishers, Selena, Josh, Colin, Thane, and Kyle. All took third place at the Skills USA state competition. We didn't have any national competitors moving into nationals this year. Looked like I mentioned at the last meeting, most of our students that did participate are all underclassmen, which is a good sign. We also had a Skills USA signing day last week. We had 16 students recognized going to the military, college, or out on the job. Doc was there. He witnessed our students do an official signing. It's a great event. I would recommend next year that you would come and see. There were over, I believe he said, 400 participants in this signing day. We want to give our students in current technical education the same type of options that we have for athletics. It was a really cool thing to see. It was my first time witnessing it, and I thought it went fabulous. So again, for our students, they did a fabulous job. And that would be it.
Thank you. We have one of our winners here, Thane Getz.
Oh, yeah, man.
And you, sir, are a sophomore, if I remember
I'm a
correctly.
Freshman.
Oh my
Even
God.
more impressive.
So go ahead, you can.
I placed first place in districts, and I also placed third place in states for job interview skills. I really enjoyed the time, and everybody at Upper Bucks Technical School, and especially Ms. Reese, really helped me strive to hit my goal.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for being here.
So I placed first in districts, and I went on the states and placed third in extemporaneous speaking.
Congratulations. Anybody else here that we didn't recognize that's here today? We have a great group of kids. All right, so we can move on now to agenda item number 6, committee reports. No committee meetings were held. Facilities, finance, policy, no meetings were held. Item number 7, I have the consent calendar, which is going to include April minutes, April financial reports, May bills payable, and personnel recommendations. So I can make a motion to approve item D through C, or B through D. B through D. Well, April minutes, I don't see the April minutes. Oh, they're right here, April minutes. They weren't, no, they're the attachment, so, okay. So I can make that in form of a motion, just to correct the record. Consent calendar, items A through D. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Comments and questions from board members? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Motion passes 8-0. So we have item number 8, policy, new, revised. I have Motion to approve policy number 0000002, number 101, number 102, number 103, number 323, number 806, number 808, and number 918 as distributed in our April meeting and recommended by the policy committee.
So moved.
Do you have any comments or questions on any of the policy changes from board members? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 8-0. Occupation Advisory Committee members. I have a motion to approve the following new Occupational Advisory Committee members. There are several, which is wonderful to see. Do I have a second?
Are these all only new ones?
Yes.
Yeah. So moved.
Second?
Comments or questions from board members? I think it's really, I just want to say that it's wonderful that we have so many people volunteering. You are really free to help guide.
Did we reach out to these people, or did they contact us?
We reached out. The instructors would make the contacts and send emails and so
All those in favor? I'm sorry, thank you. Motion passes 8-0. Item number 10, I have the 2019-2020 JOC dates. Comments or questions from board members? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 8-0. Now we have an election of treasurer. In accordance with the Articles of Agreement, a motion to appoint Mr. Holloway as treasurer to serve for 1 year beginning the first Monday in July following the election, and to serve a bond in the amount of $75,000 for an individual appointment or elected to the position of treasurer of the junior operating committee. Because you're our current treasurer, would you like to?
I'm fine with that.
Thank you, sir. Okay. You know, like, Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Comments or questions from board members? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 8-0.
Congratulations.
Designation of depositories for the 2019-2020 school year. I have a motion to approve designation of the following financial institutions for the 2019-2020 school year. Depositories are Penn Community Bank, Berkeley, PA, Quakertown National Bank, Quakertown, PA, PA Local Government Investment Trust, PLGIT, PA School District Liquid Assets Fund, PSDLAF.
So moved.
Comments or questions from board members? Ms. Coppola, do you have anything to add to that?
I do.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 8-0. I have a 13 food service contract. Motion to approve the attached food service contract with Pennridge School District and Upper Bucks Technical School. Comments or questions from board members?
This is what we're doing now.
It's the same thing as we're doing now.
You seem to be working like that.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 8-0. I have a Zuma website agreement. Motion to approve Zuma to host our website for a one-year period beginning July 1, 2019, and ending June 30th, 2020, for a cost of $2,400.
So moved. Second.
Comments or questions from board members?
That just seems like a big bill, for web hosting. Someone shed some light on a $2,400 bill for 1 year of a website.
It's less than our current bill, that's my understanding, and our current website is outdated, the template.
I got it. What are we paying for? I mean, web space is like dirt cheap. What are we paying $2,400 for? Is it the program that we're using to make the website that has a front and back end? Or is it like, we literally just, of course I could have read through this in my ignorance, I apologize. So, are we using software that they developed to make our website and keep it on there?
It's a totally new design. We're gonna design the whole thing for us, they'll approval, and it'll be an easier navigation through the whole website itself. And our webpage.
It's cheaper than what we're paying now.
Yeah, we upgraded to now.
So it's a $2,400 bill this year. What's it going to be next year? Do we know? Right, I know. It'll probably be the same, hopefully. I mean, I know it's a one-year agreement, but my concern is they're going to be like, oh no, it's $5,000 this year now that we got you all set up.
I don't think so. We had the woman in do a presentation, and she, has a lot of work throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey. So she said that the costs are probably just straight up front, but it'll be that as we go year to year. So Ellis did review the contract. We did make some changes and notations, and they were okay with that.
Okay. So do I have a motion to?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 8-0. School safety grant, we have a motion to accept a $9,500 school safety grant and security grant from the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency. Comments or questions from board members?
What's the money going to be used for?
Cameras, updating our camera system, our surveillance through the interior and exterior of our building.
Okay.
Did we have to present something?
We had read a grant. We were only one of four actually that received that particular grant.
Thank you for your hard work on that. Any other questions or comments from board members? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We have a motion to accept the RFP for the custodial services in the amount of,
So we were clicking, and we received all of the information back from the references, the questions that were submitted. So I think last time we were down to, 2 different companies, and Interstate Maintenance Corporation was significantly lower. And so you, sorry.
30,000.
So we did send out those reference questions, or I guess it's just me to send out those reference questions to both companies. And all of the references that came back from both companies were very specific and all pretty exceptional. And so since the references were really good for the company that was less expensive, I would, my preference would be to move forward with the one that costs less, given the reviews. And actually, it looked like the turnover rate for that company was even less based on the responses than the other company. So, it looked to be better based on the information that we got back. That would be you know, that would be my opinion from the information that we received. So, I mean, I can make that in the form of a motion if you want me to.
Sure, I want to have a conversation about that before we put it up. Vote. Does anybody else have anything, any comments or questions with the information that we got back from all of Mr. Murphy's hard work, and then we emailed and we got quotes, got RFPs, put a lot of hard work into this, and interstate maintenance corp.
We wanted us to stay in Aramark.
Yeah, his recommendation was Aramark. They were here, they've been here for 4 to 5 years. The same staff has been here. There has been no theft. The buildings are clean. Turnover, you know, to jump into a new company, you know, I don't know how smoothly that's going to go through the summer months, but you know, he really likes the Aramark people, and they really do well with us. And
It's like $90,000 over 3 years.
That's, I agree with you, $30,000.
Yeah. And when you look at the rates of even what their employees make, actually interstate maintenance pays their employees higher wages, but it's because they're a smaller company and they don't have all the overhead that Aramark makes, or that Aramark has. But, you know, I guess my impression from our last meeting was that if the responses were good, that we were going to go with a company, otherwise I don't know why we would have sent out the information to explore it if we were just going to go with the original. Unless obviously the references came back showing concerns.
How long of a contract is it?
3 years.
It is a lot of money, but over 3 years, you know, 30,000. I'm torn. I see the potential in saving in the $90,000. I really like that, of course. But it's about $30,000 a year for the adjustment that the school's going to have to make, and the staff is going to need to make for the new contract.
I think they're doing a great job.
They weren't as good as they said they were.
Well, I mean, all the references were very good, very specific.
Doesn't mean a thing.
It's hard to go with what you're saying.
Well, if the services aren't up to par, what happens if we wanted to terminate the contract early?
Well, these contracts usually have time periods.
it's a 3-year contract.
3-year contract, but there's a time period, you can give them 3 months in advance to end the contract, if they're not good.
Not always the case, not always the case.
You don't think that's the case?
It's not always the case that you can get out of a contract simply by giving notice. But some contracts require that we do a breach, an actual violation of the agreement.
It's not a contract.
I wouldn't know what the contract looks like until we
Right.
get the final, or get the final document.
I'm gonna make a motion to table this agenda item until we can answer some clarifying questions and have the contract in place.
Well, I guess I'm both.
After the contract.
So can I make a motion, Mr. President, to secure the final contract from both Aramark and the interstate?
You should make a motion to table it.
Well, we need to ask them for the final contract so that you can review them.
We have copies though. I would assume you have copies of it.
We have the bid.
Which will have the breach information and so on, or the contract?
I'll have to call him and get the contract. If Joe's, he's not here, he's up in Oxford.
Well, I still have my motion on the table that I was to table this item.
Second.
Comments or questions about tabling this until next month?
Well, in the meantime, what are we gonna find out? Are we gonna get the contract with them? I say, for a new group coming in, it has to have stipulation that we can get out of that contract.
We're not saying we don't believe you, we just want to see it before we vote on it.
I'm saying, but that's not unreasonable to add something, you know. If we're getting a new group in, we know the other group could, because the money could do it, right? Is that, I mean, because if all things were equal, I'd say, or even a little, if they were a little more, but this is substantial.
So they'll gather all that information for us, and I guess there's some back to committee, and we'll have the discussion.
Did we ask Aaron Mark? Pardon? Did we ask Aaron Mark?
You can't.
You can't, because
No,
you
they
put it out to
didn't.
Right. So there's a motion on the table, seconded by Mr. Dave. All those in favor of tabling this and sending it back to committee for further review?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So,
This isn't gonna mess up any of our summer stuff, is it?
So the contract runs up June 30th, so we're gonna have to finalize it.
so. Okay, so I can move on to item 17. Is that okay? I can move on to item 17. Thank you. So I have a new storage building project. So I have a motion to accept the bid for the new storage building project. Pole barn in the amount of $82,818 from Dutchman Contracting LLC of 278 North Ridge Road, Reinholdsville, PA. Sealed bids were open on May the 3rd, 2019 at 10 a.m.
So, motion for discussion.
Thank you. Comments or questions from board members?
They would be an old fit.
Yes.
How big is the building?
The building is 30 by 100. I guess a few years ago, it was planned to be erected behind the construction programs in the front of the building down here. There's been a concrete slab waiting for the erection of the pole barn. So we went out and we got some bids. This is the lowest bid that's going to be insulated. There's going to be 6 roll doors, 4 man doors, and it will be all insulated. And then our students will finish the interior of the building for their projects, such as putting lights and switches in and divider walls. So it'll accommodate the programs down there to put in their some of their tools and equipment and supplies. So it would free up some space in the lab area for the students to work. They'll have more of a lab space. And also in the inclement weather, if you notice in the back, some of them are getting taken down. Our construction technologies classes, they build little sheds and inside in our property class as well. They do finish work, so it's going to give them more work area, but we're going to get them out of the It's a steel structure, yeah. It will be steel siding, steel roof, steel doors, rain gutters, so.
Do any of the board members know about this?
I
want to voice my concern. This is kind of seemingly spontaneous for us, even though you guys have been working on it for 3 years. You know, they need it. Just saying, maybe bring it up before next time for our sake of clarity and transparency. This is in the budget.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's in the
Yes, I have a motion. Any other comments or questions from board members? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 8-0. So we can move on to item number 18. FFA trip to Penn State. Motion to approve 4 UBCTS animal technology students will be participating in the annual FFA competition. The competition will be held at Penn State on June 11th to the 13th, 2019. The cost for each student is $160. Students will pay for 80, and the FFA account will cover their 80, the other 80. T-shirts will total 40, which will be paid through the FFA account. The $24 parking fee will be covered by the FFA account. The only cost to UBCTS will be the one advisor cost of $180, use of the school van, gas $200 max, and the cost of a substitute for 3 days, 110 times 330. Total cost to FFA account $320 plus 24 plus 40 equals $384. Total cost to UBCTS is $180, 200 plus 330 is $710. The nurse is staffed by FFA and will be available to all students while they're there.
Second.
Comments or questions from board members?
Yes.
Do you know what they're going to be competing doing?
They're in the vet science competition.
How long have you been taking students out there?
This is our first year.
Oh, first year.
Yep.
Okay.
What's FFA stand for?
Future Farmers of America, technically, it is no longer really known as that because we're more than just farmers.
Father farmer. All right. That sounds wonderful. You'll have to let us know how they all did.
Sure, I will.
Any comments, other comments and questions from board members? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 8-0. So we are back to recognition and comments from the audience. Same rules apply. You just please state your name, municipality, relationship to the school. I'm gonna go in order on here that they asked, to be fair, and then I will pass this around for anybody else who would like to sign up. Oh, no, I guess I kind of. So the first person who had signed up and they wanted to speak at the end, and I noted here, speaking at the end, my initials, I have Diane Penn, and District of Residence would be Reading. So if you could just tell us your relationship to the school, that would be wonderful.
Hi, I'm Diana Penn, and I'm the Baking and Pastry Arts Instructor. And I've been here at Upper Bucks for 7 years. And I'd like to defer my 3 minutes and have Mr. Moser speak on my behalf.
Thank you. Let me start off by saying you just lost the hardest working administrator at this school. It's because of the judgment and what everybody at this table has done. You might not realize what's going on. How many of you ever walked up to our classrooms, talked to us, asked what's going on at this school? Not many. So just letting you know. You walk around with an administrator, you don't come around with us, you just come in for, hi, how's it going? Just the casual stuff, but you just lost someone great. Now, let's start off with this. Back in September 21st, 2017, I sent an email out to Dr. Radigan because of sunshine law violation, where I had a field trip planned down to Florida for disaster relief. I did 7 of them before, and it was discussed in executive session, and I was told it was taken off the agenda in executive session, and they discussed why we weren't allowed to go. It was too close to the end of the year. That's not permissible to talk about these items in executive session. I hope you guys know, like I said, we talked earlier about being able to have public comment before anything is passed. That is the law. You guys did not allow public comment. And no one says anything. You are allowed to respond. You know, you can ask questions. You can make comments. And I'd really love to know how many of you actually voted to put the time limits on tonight and where that came from. Well, it surely wasn't a public meeting. You guys just decided that. It's not executive session material there to be talking about this kind of thing. So anyhow, I'll move along. So we already talked about that. Wednesday, April 24th, we had a faculty meeting here at the school. And during that faculty meeting, someone brought up the problematic issues with the agenda not being available and then things being put on. Because I stopped in before the last board meeting at 11:30 in the morning, and there was on the agenda was closing the programs and opening the 2 new programs. And then by 12:30, it was taken off the agenda. And then by the meeting, it was put back on to approve the new programs. Here again, you never get a chance to public comment with that. So during our faculty meeting, one of our teachers asked, like, hey, this seems very suspect. And with that, our director, Mr. Sweeta, said, with the entire faculty present, he told us that that decision to take it off the agenda, because they weren't quite sure what they were doing with closing the programs, so they wanted to take off the agenda because they weren't sure how they wanted to vote on this, and they took it off the agenda. And also, as far as starting up the new programs, they put it on the agenda during executive session. This is not privileged executive session material. That violates the sunshine law. You must deliberate this stuff in the public, and that's wrong. So I encourage you to go to pa.gov website and look at what's allowed. Actually, I have it written right here if you want to hear it. Although my 3 minutes is up, I don't know if I'm allowed to keep going.
If you'd like to wrap up.
Well, I'd really not like to wrap up. And I think
Start using your 3 minutes that you signed up for.
What?
You can use the other 3 minutes that you signed up for. Chat.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. We'll grab a quick drink of water here. All right, I guess I have to educate you on the law. So this is what you're allowed to discuss. Personnel matters. That doesn't mean adding jobs, deleting jobs. That means, all right, they got in trouble, they were doing something wrong, they came in late. That's personnel issues. You're not allowed to eliminate jobs in executive session. Holding an informational meeting, a negotiation setting, or, negotiations for collective bargaining, considering the purchase or lease of real property, consulting with an attorney about active or pending litigation, not possible or probable, active or pending litigation. Discussing agency business which, if conducted in the public, would violate lawful privilege. Disclosure of information or confidentiality protected by law. There's one just for colleges, so I'm going to skip that one. Discussing certain public safety issues if disclosure of that information discussed would reasonably be likely to jeopardize, threaten public safety or the preparedness of public protection. That is it. You're not allowed to discuss anything else in executive session. And you do, at least according to our director, unless he lied. I have no reason to believe he would lie to us. But he said, you put stuff on, you took it off, you discussed it. We didn't have enough, we weren't sure which direction we wanted to go with it. That's what he said. Everybody here witnessed it. So either he's lying or you broke the law. Nothing? It's great. It's great. You do know you're allowed to respond to someone? Actually, if you go to the pa.gov website, they'll actually say on it, let's see here. They'll actually tell you that it's actually good to respond, because it, right here, Although members are not required to provide answers, answering questions can demonstrate a commitment to helping the constituents. I guess you don't have that commitment. Okay, moving along. I talked to Mr. Sweet when we found out, of course, I'm sure that's the reason Ms. Hill left. We eliminated the CTE supervisor position. It got eliminated. I was like, what's going on? I went to his office. I said, why'd you eliminate the position? He said, I don't want to eliminate it. And I said, well, who caused this? Who wanted to eliminate it? He said, my bosses told me to eliminate it. And I said, well, who's that? He said, the JOC and the superintendent. So it's like I said, it's okay to fire someone if they're doing poor performance, but we have a policy at our school, an organizational chart. We have all these positions. That's your job to eliminate it. And it's supposed to be done at a public meeting. And I told him, I said, that's wrong. You can't eliminate a position at the school behind closed doors. You have to vote on it. You have to talk about it in the public. And that wasn't done. Anybody want to comment? No? Karen's enough to comment? Okay. So, I talked to them about that. And after that, they eliminated another position. They eliminated our financial secretary. And like I said, we have policy number 008, I believe it is.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah?
if you could just wrap up that.
I'll be respectful.
I have Michael Young.
Hi, my name is Michael Young. I'm the automotive technology instructor. I've been teaching here for about 8 years. I would like to defer my time to Mr. Moser if possible.
Thank you, Mike. All right. So, as I was saying, they eliminated the financial secretary's position. There was actually someone working as a CTE supervisor they eliminated. And of course, we hear from our director when he comes in, we're up in the rigor. We don't want cell phones in the hallways, or we're going to get rid of cell phones next year. No hats. We're going to have American flag in every classroom. We're going to crack down. We're going to have discipline. What do? We get rid of our disciplinary position. And what do? We lump it on poor Miss Hill. And you'll wonder why she walked out. She already does. She's one of the hardest. She is the hardest working administrator in the school. And now we dump another job on top of her and wonder why she walked out on you guys? It's sad. But why? Why? What are you trying to do? Balance your own budgets back to your homeschool? I know I was an elected official. I served. I know what it's like to do budgets. I was a township supervisor for 6 years. It's tough choices. But you know what? If you're going to gut this school, you better do it at a public meeting in front of everybody so we can hold you accountable at the ballot box. It's shameful. Like it's this whole time thing. You should not be restricting our time. You shouldn't be allowing us to speak. You should be asking us to speak. It's shameful. And just so you know, I did talk to the administration, and I did want to set up a meeting with Ms. Dolan, Mr. Harner, with Ellis, and with Mr. Sweda to talk about this, to keep it out of the public eye, because I did that 2 years ago, and I tried to keep it out of the public eye. But these sunshine law violations just can't keep continuing. And your silence can't keep continuing. If either my director's a liar, or you guys are violating the law. And it's shameful. Another observation I made is it's kind of neat. You knew there was going to be a bunch of people, and you knew you had to set up a time clock, but you didn't think to get chairs for all these people. That's really considerate of you guys. That's very nice of you. I can see how much concern you have for your public. Okay. So, well, I guess if you guys don't think there's a sunshine law violation, I guess maybe you ignore it and don't talk about it, it goes away. But I was going to file at the Court of Common Pleas, and I decided, you know what, maybe some of the school board members are innocent in this. But I guess not. So I guess that's what I have to do. And I really don't want to do that. But if you're going to keep violating the law and keep doing things in back rooms and not in front of the public, I mean, there's been very little discussion about closing these programs, opening these programs. in recent history at a board meeting. I know you talked about it back in the committee meetings and stuff like that, and during the budget meeting, I was there for that as well. But as far as putting it on, taking it off, and all this neat stuff, and with what our director tells us, so either you're making a liar out of him or you broke the law, so it's one of the two. Oh, time's up.
Mr. Dean Rutch?
My name is Mr. Dean Rook.
Rook?
I'm the machining technologies instructor at the Upper Park Tech School here for 19 years. And I'd like to defer my time to Mr. Moser so he can speak on my behalf.
So I'll wrap it up for you guys. You don't have to worry about another 2 more minutes. Dissolving positions, combining it, you're gutting our school. You're planning on sending 800 and some more. You want to up the enrollment here, but you're taking away our disciplinarian position, and you're taking away our financial secretary. We had an audit here a few years ago, and they told us one of the places we need to improve was the business office. Nothing against Gail, she's a very fine worker here, but they told us that was one of the places that was a weakness, that we needed to improve that. It was an independent audit. That wasn't from us. And now you're getting rid of that? And I'm sure it's coming down the line. Because I know we're supposed to get a new guidance person. We're supposed to get a new special ed person. And I'm sure that's going to get cut. Heck, we're cutting everybody here. So it's, like I said, it's shameful that you're doing this. It's shameful that you're doing this behind closed doors. It's shameful that you guys will not speak out, even involved in a dialogue here, and let me know what's going on. And I guess, like I said, I have no other recourse, and I really didn't want to do this. I really wanted to hear what you had to say. I wanted to talk to you and try to work this thing out. I wanted to do it behind closed doors first, but nobody could arrange that meeting. It was impossible to do. So now I got no choice but to go and file the court of common pleas. And it just boggles my mind that you can look up on the website right now, pa.gov, that you have to have public comment at a meeting. On any agenda item. And you guys did not provide that at the last meeting. And it just bogs my mind you will not even answer that question or even talk about it. So let me just double check, but I think that's probably about it. Oh, on something else, their website, not a good website. It's not good. It's $2,400 for 1 year, and you should have got a much better deal than that. I know and the other thing is, we have a technology committee here. We got a learning management system through the technology committee. We got a grading system through the technology committee. We sit there's a lot of people, we have degrees in technology in our staff, master's degrees. And we sit here, we go through all the technology at the school. We try to figure out, we test out new computers. We've had a wonderful reputation in our technology committees. Why didn't you bother to involve us with that and bring that to us so we could advise you guys? Well, if you look at that thing, it's a cookie cutter piece of crap website. Just type in Zumo, you can find out what it looks like. And it's not really good. It's generic. It's a generic cookie cutter for municipalities and schools. And you should have got something custom that actually shows our school and how good it is. But anyhow, thank you very much. And you're going to lose a lot more people, just so you know. It's coming. There's going to be a lot more people leaving this school if you continue to keep the type of leadership you have right now. So. And it's terrible that you guys, like I said, you have policies you're supposed to follow them. You're supposed to have stuff in the public, and it's sad. Thank you.
Joe, sir?
I had no further comment.
Thank you. Craig, yes?
No further comments, thank you.
Bill Young?
No further comment, thank you.
Barbara Mandato?
No further comment, thank you.
Carrie Lowe?
Kerry Wong.
Wong, I'm sorry.
Hi, my name is Kerry Wong. I'm Quakertown School District in Haycock Township. In Quakertown, I've been involved in the steering committee for our strategic plan and with our sports and other activities for many years. But there's some facts you guys don't know. Bucks County is the #1 4-H county in the country. not the state, the country. There's almost 10,000 kids registered in 4-H in the state of Pennsylvania. We're the #1 exporter of hardwoods in North America. 5th number exporter of grapes in the country. Our agriculture system has not died, has not gone away from us. And Upper Bucks is the agricultural center of Bucks County. It's no longer south. I have range fair people coming to me, talking to me about getting involved with the programs here at the tech school. So we're trying to get involved to do more things with the school. The kids that are in agriculture up in this part of the county are in 2 programs here at the tech school. They're either in animal science or they're in landscaping and design. Because that's what they do. They work on farms, they take care of materials, they take care of properties. And that's a very important program for this part of this county. I know there's a lot of conversation about, do we need a biotech or not a biotech? It's not that we don't need biotech. It's not that we don't need to keep moving forward. I think there's a lack of vision that we have as an organization that we're not taking to the right steps. Having said that, when I was on the steering committee at Quakertown for the last strategic plan, there were a lot of ideas I had about communication, information, sharing information on websites, getting a TV station, and all these other things that we wanted to do. And everybody said, no, I champion those. We have them, and I think the district is better for them. There's so much communication in Quakertown, and it's an awesome thing. But here at the tech school, my daughter's been here 2 years, and I see weaknesses across the board. There's no plan in how you get a kid into tech school. That kid's not in a program. How does that kid get to that program? And then on top of that, how do you move that kid up in programs? Is he a lower level, just wants to work with mowing lawns or working with animals? Or does that person want to be a vet tech or a designer? You guys don't address those issues. And all of our districts, especially Quakertown, has invested a lot of money to make our school districts a destination, meaning we want our kids to stay here. We don't want our kids to take our tax dollars and go to a charter school or some other school where we have to send our dollars there. We're investing to keep our kids here. Well, if you're taking programs away that are filling a very important need in this community, you're going to start losing kids again. And I'm concerned that we're not looking at those issues. Having said that, we have a whole bunch of resources here. Quakertown's dying for storage. I'm picking on you, Dr. Harner, because I know you and I know our issues. We're dying for storage. We have no place to put anything anymore because we've run out of space. Wouldn't we have some resources that maybe could build us some sheds or put some materials together right here? We don't use our own resources. We don't use our education system to fill our needs in our districts. So we could expand our education at the same time we're meeting our needs. We're not looking at those things as alternatives or options. I think that's a weakness across the board in the way we approach our programs. So to wipe the program out is not always the best thing to do. I taught, having been involved in small businesses for a lot of years, I have a lot of friends that are involved with them. The biggest complaints throughout all of southeastern Pennsylvania is, I have no labor force, no qualified people, nobody wants to work, I don't have anybody trained in especially in the construction skills. We can't get enough people to do jobs, to do work. IT information, IT solutions, people to pull cable, people to do stuff like that. There's a huge demand and we're not meeting it. And we're looking at cutting things that could help us in spite of, to accentuate in another area. And I'm not saying that's a bad idea, but we have to consider where we've been. Thank you.
Mr. Tim McGinnis?
Hi, I'm Tim McGinnis. I'm the culinary instructor here at Upper Bucks County Technical School. I've been here for 5 years. I've been a teacher for 12 years now, 3 different schools. And I just want to say that this guidance department, led by Tracy Hill, was the best guidance department that I ever worked with. And I appreciate Tracy's work and Morgan Welding's work as well. Great people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Over here. Past student of the tech school, 4 years in landscape construction. I came here tonight to talk, more support the group I'm here, they're trying to get rid of landscape construction. Really, I'm just, now that I'm here and saw a couple things, I've been in a couple meetings, firehouse meetings, a couple other meetings. This meeting is absolutely horrible. Poorly ran, nobody talked. I have to agree 100% with Moser. Worst meeting I ever saw. But that's their problem, not mine. I'm here to keep landscape construction going because you guys would spend a little more money on that instead of websites. I bet that program could be something really good. In them 4 years, it started out really great and went downhill and keeps going downhill from what I hear. Cutting the cost of greenhouses, shutting the fuel off so we can't use them. Or if we can't use our resources, how are we, going to learn? I'm here to talk for multiple people who are in the program who are very upset with this. It is a second choice, as you quoted on the minutes I saw, or a presentation that you guys brought up for the new program. That it's a second choice that Animal Tech is leading, and most of them, it's in a PowerPoint, don't give me a goofy look. What's that? I'm being respectful. If you want me to leave, I'll leave. I'm just trying to voice my opinion for the community. Basically, just think about what you're doing. I understand the future's coming and you need a program for that. And that's great. Plenty of room in the building, or even expand. If you have 82,000 to build a shed, put some classrooms in it. That's all I gotta say. You guys have anything to say? I actually want to know who you two are. I can't read your name.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm Katie Dolan, so I'm JOC chairperson.
Okay.
My name's Dave McMullen.
Position?
Vice President of the ARCF in Jacob.
Got it. I didn't know you guys were working for the name tag.
And I'm a fellow graduate.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Well, that's all I got. Any of my other classmates want to say anything?
At the end, I can respond.
You talking after?
Yeah.
We have Sandy Hendricks.
Told me, for school, because I was just so impressed. And I was so excited when my daughter Amy decided to come here as well. And it's been a wonderful experience for her. Amy was actually a student who signed up for Animal Tech, couldn't get in, so decided not to come. And then mid-year, she decided to try out the landscape program because her three brothers own a landscape company. She has loved it ever since, was told then she could go into the Animal Tech program, said, nope, I don't want to. She wanted to stay in it. And then on April 8th, let me get my bearings here. Yes, April 8th, I received a letter that they were considering curtailing the program. And I was just blown away because I had never heard anything about it before, nothing. And now, my bad, I've never come to a meeting before. But in a sense, I feel that that's a tribute to you, that we trust you. You've all been in voted positions. A lot of times we don't come to these meetings until we have a concern, but that's because we trust that you're going to make the right decisions for our children. So I was just blown away by this meeting, or by this decision. Then on April 10th, I got a letter from Mr. Sweeta. My April 8th letter was also from Mr. Sweeta. On April 10th, I got a letter stating that they were going to have a parent meeting, giving us information. I believe the meeting was, let's see, I don't have that date in front of me.
It was the following, I think.
But it was I think we got the letter on a Thursday. The meeting was the following Monday at 4 o'clock. Now, most people work, can't attend a 4 o'clock meeting. I questioned that, and I was told that Mr. Sweeta had a prior engagement and he couldn't change the time. So only two of us parents were able to attend. And I was just so disappointed. And then I find out that it's going to be on the agenda to be voted at the April 18th meeting. I'm sorry, the April meeting. I'm sorry, I'm not a good public speaker. I'm getting nervous here. But I was told that it was going to be on the agenda for April. And I looked at the agenda. It was on the agenda. And it wasn't worded that it was going to be voted on for the new program. It was worded that it was going to be it was going to be discussed if the old program was going to be terminated. I have a copy of it. I printed it out. Then I get a letter in the afternoon from Mr. Sueda stating that they've decided to take it off of the agenda because they want interested parties to have more time to gather information. And I'm like, wow, that's great. Then I find out on social media that it was put back on the agenda. And you know what? That night, I had the same sick feeling that I had the day that I realized that I was upset that my older children didn't get to attend here. I felt sick to my stomach, and as a parent, I can't help but feel deceived. We were told that it was going to be we received a letter that it was going to be taken off the agenda. But it was put back on the agenda in a different way. Instead of removing the landscape program, it was put back on the agenda that they were going to vote on the new program. And it was voted on. And, well, that's what your minutes say. I've printed them all out.
No, I understand the
I'm sorry. But anyway, I'm way past my 3 minutes here. My friend was going to give me her 3 minutes, and she left the room. But I'm sick about it. I have to say, I'm just sick, and it feels like deceit. We feel deceived as parents. I get that the enrollment is down. I understand that. But I checked in with all 3 guidance departments at Palisades, Quakertown, and Pennridge, and none of them were made aware until very recently that the program was being considered to be curtailed. And I'm not a marketing major, but I would think if you're trying to get more students, let the guidance department know. And then those kids that are, flailing and not sure what they want to do, maybe it could be suggested to them, hey, why don't you try the landscape program? My daughter loves it. And she's very sad that it could end. And I'm very sad and I'm very disappointed in how all of this was handled. I just feel that it was very deceitful. And I'm sorry to say that. I appreciate all of you. I know you're all volunteers. I know you put a lot of time in. But we were told one thing, and then another thing happened, and that was incredibly disappointing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I have Caleb Miller.
I no longer need to comment, thank you.
Thank you for being here. Cindy Davis? Okay. Michael Strapoli?
Hello, my name is Michael Sarpoli. I graduated from Pennridge. I was here for Upper Bucks Technical School from 2007 through 2011. I was at the landscape construction program for horticulture at the time. I also worked part-time here as a maintenance guy here through my 3 years being with landscape construction at the time, thanks to Ms. Reese. Just want to say, if you're really thinking about getting rid of the landscape construction department, you're making a terrible mistake. I learned so much through Mr. Kunkel. Ms. Overton helped me out a lot. I am one of the head groundskeeper guys at this retirement community over in Harleysville called Middle Wisdom and Living. I learned so much. The main things I know are thanks to Mr. Kunkel and Ms. Overton especially. And Mrs. Hill was a great guidance counselor as well for me. She helped me through everything, every step by step when I was going to college for business administration. I got my degree and all that, and she always supported me throughout the way. So it's another terrible loss. I'm sorry. We did a lot of things at landscape construction. Did so many field trips. We got a tour of the Philly Stadium at the time. Every single year we couldn't wait for this event called Bucks Beautiful. I'm not sure you guys do that anymore.
They're closed.
They closed that anymore? Okay. That was a great field trip. We always said we did so many big projects together, and during all these, this was fun times and everything. And at the same time, we were learning every obstacle what to do, like making patios, planting trees, planting plants, all this other stuff. And especially now, like everything's going green all around the county, all around the world. And if you think about your landscape construction especially, I just think it's a terrible, terrible mistake. And especially how much help I got through Kunkel and Ms. Overton and Ms. Reese helped me right now. It's a shame. And I hope you guys reconsider ever take back your landscape construction. Thank you.
Do you have a job?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
In case you're looking for one, I can.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, hi.
I'm Nick Hill, and I'm from Pennridge. I spoke at the last meeting, and I'm obviously going to speak again here. I just want to say I'm happy I'm going to be graduating in a few weeks. Really appreciated my time here, learning from, honestly, the greatest teacher of all time, Mr. Joseph, sir. I can't really appreciate it enough how well he taught me over the last few years, because my grandfather, he can't teach me anything. I know that. I'd like to thank Miss Reese, Miss Overton, and Miss Hill. It's unfortunate she had to go. I really hate to see that, but I'm going to have to say one unfortunate thing. I don't know if I can, I want to raise my kids here in the future, but I don't know if I can with the level of stuff that's going on. Like all the, it's kind of shady to me. Closed doors meetings and all that, that's a little shady to me. And it's time thing, that to me is kind of restricting the First Amendment rights. Like, are we toddlers here? Half the people in this room could go to a bar right now and buy a beer. Come on. So, anyways, I would like, in my last 2 minutes, for everyone to look at that flag right there. Because right now, you guys are really misrepresenting it and what it stands for. That flag stands for freedom, prosperity, and the pursuit of happiness. And the people who make those flags are people like nurses, like my mom, who works so very hard. And she's a single mom. She's worked so very hard to support me and my sister. Firefighters, policemen, the military, who protects the sovereignty of this great nation. Construction workers. Without them, we wouldn't have this building. Electricity? Good luck having the power on if you don't have them in the dead middle of winter. Finally, but not least, one of the classes we're closing here, plumbing. Without plumbing, well, if you think the diseases you get from when you don't vaccinate your kids, drink dirty water. Those are going to be a lot worse, believe me. So, I hope all of you guys change your ways, maybe in the near future. I hope so. My opinion, probably not, with the way things are, but I hope if you hear it from an 18-year-old kid who's graduating in a few weeks, doesn't have a plumbing job yet, I hope if you hear it from me, at least maybe I can motivate you guys. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for being here again. So next I have Daniel Campbell.
Yeah, my name is Dan Campbell. I am a freshman at the Pennridge High School, and I also attend here for the landscaping program. And I just wanted to say that I don't know if you guys got my email the other day about closing this program. I don't want that to happen because I really enjoyed this program. It taught me so much, especially from Mr. Kunkel, because he is like an awesome teacher who taught me everything I need to know about landscaping and like hardscaping itself. But if you were to cancel this program and make a whole nother program combining two things, that's just boring. You wouldn't have kids join it. But if you keep these programs, kids like them. Like my classmates, they like this program. And they would want to continue this program if they had the chance to. But if you guys close the program, they won't have the chance to. They would do like other boring stuff that they think is not enjoyable. And the main point I want to say here is that I don't think you guys should close this program because I just made a lot of friends here, especially in my first year here. Made a whole bunch of friends. I even was taught a lot of stuff that even from this stuff, I got myself an own job. And I also applied for a summer internship here, thanks to Miss Reese. And if this program closes, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I would continue this stuff. Like, if there's new stuff to learn, who would teach me? Thank you.
Thank you.
Ask him if he has a job. Do you have a job?
Stephen Rivers?
Yes, I'd just like to reiterate some of the statements I made earlier, and first I'd like to say I'm shocked at the results of, as I mentioned, the doubling up on people's workload. Mrs. Hill's gone, and I can only say that these people are correct and that she's a tremendous person, really put their heart into her job and helps out our children very much. But you should consider those things. The other thing is with closing I participated in closing the cabinet making program. And it's a tough decision. I know how difficult that is. And you have a policy where certain programs fall below a certain amount of attendance for a period of 5 years, and then they can be considered to be cut because of not enough volume of students. However, I think you should consider first of possibly reinvigorating some of the programs or combining. As Mr. Long mentioned, I believe, Ms. Hallwell knows, I mentioned when I was on board, and as Mr. Anderson as well, we have a greenhouse. We're in Bucks County, northern Bucks County. We have farms all around us. Why aren't we working out some kind of program with Del Val, or Future Farmers of America, or 4-H Club, and these other organizations? There's a lot of different types of agriculture being developed. You have small crops. You have from farm to table with all these farmers markets around now. We're wasting it. We invested in this, and now you're going to turn it around and throw it away. It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, it's something that we need to research and spend a little more time looking. And also with the plumbing department, we're going to be putting in HVAC. Well, HVAC and plumbing are pretty much related and fairly close. You know, you're working pipe, connecting pipes, electronics, everything else. So, you ought to be a little more careful about what you're going to eliminate. And also, there's things change, and they can change relatively rapidly in this country today as far as vocations and what you need. Plumbing may be down now, but it could pick up, in a year or maybe 2. And just ask anyone in this area, Upper Bucks County, who do you recommend for a plumber? There's a shortage of plumbers, and they make very, very good money. So, I mean, it's not always the answer to cut. It all should be to maybe revitalize, combine it with something else, put a little more energy in, and then listen to the teachers. They're the ones who are teaching. They're the ones who are in the trenches. Maybe there's something they'd like to introduce to help their program, but because of budgets and other things, that they can't. Or it's just the bureaucracy of the way things work. It's always, union against administration, administration against union. We're here. This is a valuable school. It teaches these students a lot. As you see here with these students who did come in. The other thing you don't realize, I mentioned about the IEP students, those students, you don't know how much work it takes. These teachers take individually with each student to have to handle those people. It's extra paperwork. It's more watching them for safety in the classroom. Everything else. It's also consoling them, helping them, talking to them. So, they go above and beyond. And we have such a high percentage here. You have to look at that and reflect on that as well. The other schools are sending us the people, some of the people they don't want. And we have to deal with them, and we do turn them around and make them productive citizens of the country. So, I'm a little upset about Mrs. Hill leaving. So, and that was a condition, consolidate, save money. We need somebody in discipline. There's no question about it. You know what's happening in the schools today. And some of these kids, because of the situation at home or whatever, they come in here, they're under tension, they're frustrated, they need that. So we have to be able to deal with them efficiently and effectively. So I just hope you reconsider some of the decisions you've made. And thank you.
Thank you. Michael Young?
I've been here about 8 years, and I've been teaching automotive technology. I kind of understand what's happening with Jeremy's program and also with plumbing, because I had the same thing happen to me. You guys closed aviation, okay? I got laid off, you got somebody else come in, but those things happen, and I understand it, okay? What I'm getting at, though, is there's a lot of things that we here don't understand where you're going. Where are we going? No, not you as an administrator, but where are you going for the school? What's your attitude towards the school? all right? I must get 15 calls a week about guys wanting to work for dealerships. I have one of the largest OECs, okay, from all the area dealerships. Thompson, SEPTA, come on, seriously, all these guys coming in want to be a part of this school, okay, asking for us to be here. All right, what can we, do we have a kid, do we have a kid, do we have a kid? And we try to give it to them the best that we can. We try to give them the best, all right? I know Mr. Kunkel tries to give them the best. I know Mr. Sir gives them the best, all right? But we don't know where you're heading. Where are you going? Share it with us, not you personally. Where is the school are we going? Okay, I taught in Philadelphia, I taught in Norristown. Yeah, I've been around, I've been seeing some things that, you talk about discipline, seriously? This place needs it. It's getting worse. It's getting to be a little bit, not this place, but the school district itself is getting to be more of a problem with as far as discipline. What do you need for assistant principals at a high school? Okay, we got here, we make do with what we have. And we've learned that these are great people, man. I couldn't wait to get back here. Okay, when the position came open, I could not wait to get back here, because I love all these guys. I've been around long enough, and I know what they're like. And I can read their minds. Okay, it's the old thing where we might fun amongst ourselves, but you don't mess with us otherwise. And we love the community. We've been in the community. I probably know some of you guys from back in my days hanging out in town. It's a great town. But I'll tell you something, I know your taxes are real high, I understand where things got to go, I get all that. But work with us. Okay, tell us what you want, where are we going? Okay, I just don't want to come in here and have it be a job. I want to come in and know that, hey, we're working to do something better. I teach tons of night school. We're trying to help people that do things around, they can work in their jobs. But we want to get our kids out there too. So again, what's going on here, I don't understand. All right? And I think this is something we need to really ask yourselves. Give us a heads up. All right? So that's it. It's on this.
Thanks, sir. And last on my sign-up list, I have Stacy Strunk.
I'd like to defer to Brian Moser.
Thank you.
Okay, for one, you should be calling her up and begging her to come back. Two, I was a public official for 6 years. Never once did anybody silence me. Apparently, you were instructed not to speak. I would thank you, Mr. Akmanowitz, because you actually tried to interact with somebody and give an answer to something, but you were silenced. I'm sorry that had to happen to you, but I appreciate you at least making the attempt. So it's kind of sad that your public officials didn't want to interact with the public or even talk to them. A few more things. Plumbing program. I asked you to do something. Just research a little bit. The numbers for the plumbing program, I went over to Mr. Sir, I calculated out what percentage you need, he doesn't have low enrollment this year. They took out all the adults, they stopped counting them just this year. I've asked 3 consecutive steering committee meetings of our administration, when did that happen? Why did it happen? Ms. Hill said, we've always counted adults. And now we just took that off, doesn't count. Adults don't count in your class now. I don't know why, I think it's because we're trying to build a case to get rid of plumbing, when actually it wasn't unenrolled this year. Yes, it had the history before, and hopefully we could, if we put in the vigor that we did to get the new program started, that plumbing program would be full. Probably the landscape would be as well. Also, I would ask you to find out what are the numbers of the people who, I don't know what the name is now, it keeps changing, biotech, I guess it's ag tech now, I'm not quite sure what they call it now this week, because it changes, it was on the website with one name, changed to another name. I would ask you to find out how many kids from the sending schools actually picked that program and actually picked the HVAC program. Not the ones where we said, hey, you're going to lose plumbing next year, you're going to lose landscaping, where are you going to go? You should go to this program and try to shuffle them in there. If they had their choice, where would they want to go? So I would ask you to find out what are the numbers of the people from the sending schools, new kids coming in that actually picked those programs, and I'll bet you those numbers are pretty darn believable. If you get the real numbers, because of course you didn't get the real numbers with Mr. Sir's program. And lastly, I'd like to thank all the residents, the past students, the parents, and especially my fellow teachers. You don't see teachers come to a board meeting unless it's like contract time. If it's, they care about this school. They're here this late at night to be here because they care. Why do you think I'm here? Because I care. So it's, like I said, for you guys not to interact with us, not to talk to us, but time limits all of a sudden, it is sad. It is sad that you guys represent the public. It's shameful. Thank you.
Thank you. So, did anybody want to make public comment that did not sign up? Yes, ma'am. Just state your name and municipality.
My name's Amy Hendricks. I'm a junior in the landscaping program. And like what Kyle and Daniel said, we haven't had a better teacher. I mean, yes, we've had great teachers, but we haven't had a better teacher. And sorry, but I was split with my mother.
I get along with it. I think Amy she's devastated, you know, and she just doesn't want to see this program end, and I just hope you'll reconsider it and listen to what all these folks have said. And she wanted to point out, you have, 2 letters were sent out, one from, can I see them, honey, I'm sorry, I can't. One from the department chair of plant science at Del Valle College, and in this letter, he stated that he does not recommend getting rid of the landscape program. I believe you all received a copy. If you didn't, I can certainly get you a copy. I would love for you to read it if you haven't already. And then there was also a letter sent from the chairman of the board of the Pennsylvania Landscape and Nursery Association, and they are also not recommending terminating the program. And I just hope that, as I said, if you haven't read these letters, I hope you will consider it. And I did want to thank Mr. Yerkes over there. My son had him, and thanks to Mr. Yerkes, although my son did not stay in diesel tech, he attended Del Valle College, is soon going to be graduating, works for the landscape program, and can repair all of the diesel trucks. Mower, whatever, I don't know any terminology, but he can fix them. So thank you.
I'm not.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
She gave me my.
And also, like, we went out last year, built a patio for Pennridge. We just finished building a beautiful sitting area, and you're not going to find a harder working class than the landscape construction program. And like, this program is not. This program is super important to me, my current classmates, my former classmates. Before I started here, I was super shy, and like, old me wouldn't even be up here. I'm still shaking, but old me wouldn't even be up here. Like, this program really helped bring me out of my comfort zone, and thanks to Ms. Hill and Ms. Overton, I'm not sure I would be here if it was for those two. And I just really hope that you put into consideration how many people actually care about this program, or that's all I can say.
Is there any other public comment?
Hi, so my name is Andrew Hockman. I go to Quakertown High School. I have been a student here for 4 years. I actually started in the cabinet making program for 2 years, which was discontinued 2 years ago from the JOC. And I was in this meeting with just about the same amount of people. There was employers there, graduates from the program, who all spoke about the cabinet making program and why it shouldn't have been closed. And I have noticed the same thing here. It showed me that, like, really nobody responds. It seems as if nobody cares. So the public opinion seems as if it doesn't matter. I've seen people around here laughing about what others have been saying. And also, I am the president of Skills USA, so I've worked closely with Mrs. Hill and Mrs. Welding. And I do want to say you have lost a very valuable employee to this school. You will never, ever find anybody like her again. That's all I have.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I'm not very good at this, so bear with me. My name's Monica. I went to Quaketown. I live in Pennridge. All 4 of my children have either been here or are here. 2 of them were special needs, IUD kids, okay? They have to work really hard to accomplish great things. My second to oldest child was in the diesel class. He's now on the dean's list at college. We didn't think he was going to graduate because of his grades. You know, this school means a lot to people in this community. My sister was one of the first kids that came here in the computer class, which of course outlived the class. I just find it hard to believe when you have the community and the kids who go to school here fighting for what they believe for, and teachers. Okay, she's one of these kids that signed up for animal tech, didn't make it, went to plants, okay? But she went to her job working in landscape. We live on a farm. She knows 90% of this stuff, but she even learned more. And, you know, she took the classes, the college classes that Ms. Hill worked really hard to get them to bring in here from Bucks County. So instead of 2 years at school, she's going to graduate in 1, okay? Those are all the positive things that happen here. But right now, there's a whole lot of negative, okay? We've gone through horrendous things with some of these teachers. And the details that the public is not being told and is being done behind closed doors is what all of us are talking about tonight. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment?
That was an entrance. So my name's Laura Campbell. My son is Daniel, and he's in the landscaping program. And I would just tell you, for myself as a parent, the way, and I appreciate, I did get a call to ask if Daniel would do the program, and it was yes. If I looked at the programs, it's just combining, I understand it's biotech or agricultural, but these children either like the animals or the plants. To combine it really doesn't make sense, to be honest with you. I have a horse farm. We can absolutely help people with the equine. There's jobs. Daniel, just from being in the program for 9 months, has a job, got on his own. So not only can they start making money now, but also future-wise start their own business. Once again, for me as a parent, in getting the emails and getting the presentation, I just felt like it was a done deal. That we weren't being asked. Somebody messed up, people got pissed off, started emailing, and then as a result, a flurry of emails came. It was only a couple of days for a parent meeting. Nobody could make it. It felt like you didn't care. So if you're really looking for input, I appreciate that you're saying thank you after people speak, but there's a lot of people here on their phones. Just so you know, like watching, I was a HR professional in organizational development. I'm watching people on their phones, people writing. You're not even paying attention lots of times that people are speaking, and that's not right. So if this is a done deal, you should just say it's a done deal, because it's a waste of time. But as you can see, there's a huge group and people that can't come. To get us chairs, you should have given up your own chairs, if you really cared. It was very nice for you to ask the cafeteria, but it takes 2 minutes. Not a person here wouldn't have mind helping you get chairs. The reason why you do that, as someone who led meetings, is because you don't really want people to be comfortable. And the reality is, you just piss people off. And you have a tough job. I've been in your shoes. When you're looking at closing something down, it's not easy to do. But your silence is a choice, and it's a bad choice. You're all elected officials. For the Pennridge team, my son looked up who you were, sent out a note, I'm hoping when I get home, you acknowledge the note. It doesn't mean that you agree, it doesn't mean that you were, but here's a boy who looked up the Pennridge JOC people, wrote a note, acknowledge it. You should acknowledge the people that are here. You should apologize for no chairs. If you've made the decision, say it. But honestly, when you go into a room of kids in animal tech and landscaping and ask if they want to do this program, and all of them say no, you should have stopped right there and did more homework or educated and marketing. The issue with specifically landscaping is not the fact that it's a marketing issue. So you'll say it hasn't been for 5 years. Mr. Kunkel, I just met you this year, but my understanding is you weren't here last year for whatever reasons. So you haven't had stability in leadership at all. I don't know what the investment, it would be nice to know, here's the investment we've made year after year in the landscaping program. Absolutely, if it's a business decision, but honestly, from the outside and as a parent, it looks like something politically is going on and the program's being slashed. And you know what, just tell people, don't keep people through this. But if you're asking for people to get involved, myself, helping with recruiting and marketing, there's plenty of people with skills that would help you. Volunteer, help you. But I appreciate your time, but I really think you have to acknowledge the people here much better. It's not right. If you took a thing of being silent, it didn't work for you. It really didn't.
Thank you.
Just one more short thing. Nancy Overton again from Palisades. So apparently yesterday on the agenda that was posted online, there was an item that was going to recognize the success of the landscaping plant sale, and it's disappeared from this agenda. Yeah, so I think that there is a very deliberate attempt to silence the successes of that program. And again, that seems deceptive and mean.
Yeah, it's on our agenda, it's item number 7.
It's not on this one. It's not on this one. The one that you printed for the public.
No, it's not on here.
Yep.
You would have printed the detailed agenda?
It's the one on the table here.
Yeah, it's the one.
And also, when you talked about...
I didn't print the detailed agenda, but if you go online and see the detailed agenda...
But again, this is what you're providing for the people when they come in, and you say if they want to make a comment on what's on the agenda and what's available to the agenda is different.
No.
It's not right.
But you didn't mention it, right, either? I didn't hear. Was there?
No, it was just skipped over. You're correct.
Yeah, so like,
yes.
even if it was on a detailed agenda, it's the same thing. It just optics-wise, looks like you're just canceling it.
I did read it, we did read it as, you know, but it was not mentioned out loud.
You can see what the impression looks like.
Thank you. Any more public comment?
Can I make just a brief statement? It's really brief. I want you to understand that Upper Bucks Technical School has the only FFA association chapter in Bucks County. Last night, we had our first banquet. It was awesome. And one thing I learned from Dr. Diamond last night, our ag program here at Upper Bucks Technical School is responsible for submitting the motion that integrated the FFA throughout the country so that women could participate. And the first woman ever to participate in FFA was taught from Pennridge here at Upper Bucks Tech. And you guys need to understand how important that is to this community.
I was a member of the FFA.
Just so you know, there's racks and racks of chairs right next door. In case you hear this problem again, I know our administration knows they're right next door and they can be wheeled right in. So,
I wasn't aware. For
I know.
next time, I was aware. I'll be aware next time.
Next time maybe you want to ask, hey, you got any chairs? Might work. But we got the clock.
Thank you. Any other, anyone else who would like to make public comment that hasn't already?
Whatever, what's your name, sir?
My name's Dave.
Yeah, let's chat now. I'd rather
Okay,
chat
let's
first.
adjourn the meeting first.
Oh, adjourn it.
Thank you. Any other public comment? I just want to make sure that we haven't missed anyone who hasn't spoken yet. Would you like to follow up with me after the meeting?
All right, yeah, I can try helping you guys out if I can. Well, I'm going to try putting myself in your shoes. If I'm an administrator, I want to make sure I have the best public relations with the American people. Because, believe it or not, I'm going to be paying taxes. Mr. Gale pays taxes. Mr. Moser pays taxes. She pays taxes. He pays taxes. We all pay taxes. So, if it is to my understanding, it'd probably be the best to be with the American people and have the best public opinion and allow the public to have some input and be able to maybe persuade the opinion. And as like public, I would at least want to look professional, not being on your phone, slacking off, eyes closed. I would like being professional, like that. No, it's not like I'm in my last period of class at Pennridge when I was in AM Tech, and it was end of the day, and I was just falling asleep playing on my phone. Because you guys are probably being paid a lot more than most people
We're actually
here.
volunteers, and I'm writing because I'm taking notes on everything everyone's saying, so that I can address you during the JOC comments period, which is the time we're allowed to respond, okay? We're not allowed to respond during this time, it's Robert's Rules of Order. You ask your questions to the chair, that's why at the beginning she let you know that at the end of public comment, she will respond to you. I'm taking notes so I can respond to you during the time frame that I have to respond to you, which is not now. So I'm not just doodling. Thank you.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's directed to me. I just want to say something. So I know people take notes, but honestly, several have been on phones and things like that, so I apologize with the notes, but that's all.
Thank you.
Sorry, I did not know
From
that.
anyone who hasn't made public comment, please.
Okay.
I wasn't even done. Yeah.
I'm Jamie Kahn, and I really have nothing
I apologize.
nothing to lose here other than I brought my children here so that they could see what this is like. I homeschool my kids, and I support the Hendrickses. They're good friends of ours, and this program is very important to Amy. And I just wanted my kids to learn what this is like and how it's supposed to function, how it's supposed to work. And my eyes are open to how things are on different things. If what you were saying are true, I'm definitely going to be looking up on different things. It just seems to me things were very quiet. So from an outsider perspective, I hope you take to heart to what everybody has to say here, because it's really important. And I think it's important for all the kids to learn what age. I mean, mine are 9, 7, and 5, and they sat through this entire meeting listening to you guys all talk. And they listened to the kids talk, and the kids voiced their opinions, and they listened to you guys, and they watched your faces, and they made comments on different things, and they watched your faces and made comments on it too. So just be aware of all the things that happen here for any kid, whether they're 18 or almost 40 or 6. It's important to make sure you hear everyone and the opinion that they have and take it to heart on how you're going to affect the future here with whatever program you have. Not everybody's going to be able to sell stuff, and some people need a tech job, and you need a plumber. I need a plumber. My husband's really good, but every once in a while I gotta call one. So, we need a landscaper. My brother is a civil engineer, and I called him up today and asked him, Jason, tell me, what do you use a landscaper for? And he said, I need a landscape architect in order to do my developments. He's a civil engineer at Lenape Valley Engineering, and he says he can't do the developments properly without knowing the plans. Well, he doesn't know the plans. That's not his job. He has people here to learn it. And I said, well, what are they going to do if they cancel it at Bucks? And he said, well, they could go to Del Val. And I said, well, there's a 4-year program there, right? As opposed to a 2-year program here. I don't know how it all works, and I could be completely wrong on that whole aspect. But it seems to me like you're really building a future here. So don't lose it. Keep it if you can. And I understand finances. I get it. I was a teacher once too. And I see that too, but your teachers are super important. Your teachers, they shape these kids, so don't lose these people. And I can see by whoever she is that left, I don't even know her, but the crowd that followed after her speaks volumes to me as just whoever down the street, that something went really awry, and you just gotta reflect on it and don't make the same mistake twice.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming in, girls. Any other public comments from someone who has not spoken during this comment period? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Carly Pagano. I was a former student in the landscape program, and I wasn't going to talk, but that was possibly the only thing that got me through high school, being happy. And I know that there was a lot of problems with that, and I know Kunkel wasn't there for some of the time, but you're not giving him the chance to really bring the class back to life. And he needs more of a chance for that. Not to mention Mrs. Hill, who put me through the college program, and I just graduated with 1 year of college done. So you've really lost someone who was very valuable.
Anyone else who has not made a public comment during this comment period? If you'd like to follow up with me afterward, that would be wonderful.
I just want to make a brief statement. I just want to make sure you recognize students, former students are here. Students here that have school the next morning are here to support these classes, and they don't want them to go away. Obviously, these teachers have touched these students, and if you're going to take these teachers away, or give their jobs away, or the program away, you're making a huge mistake. Look how much it touched all of us, just us alone. I know a lot of friends that were in the landscape construction alone that couldn't make it do the work. They wanted to be here. But I'm just here to help support Kunkel, because I know especially I would not be in the position I am right now without him, Ms. Oates and Ms. Reese, and Ms. Hill with my college. And I just want to put point blank, not just landscape construction, but with all the programs here. They have touched a lot of the students here that have to work the next morning or have class the next morning and don't not want this program to go away. That's all I have to say.
Okay, I think I got everybody who have not spoken to me. So I can address a few of the concerns now that I heard. Some of the reoccurring ones, I was taking notes, I was paying attention, taking notes. So the originally on the agenda and then both were removed and then put back on, the item, the original item was put back on. So this, the agenda that you saw, it was the same put back on. It wasn't taken off twice. I knew that. So, I know that you said the program supporting IEPs. Any IEP student who is in our school will be supported in whatever way they need in any program. I wanted to make that very clear. And, I apologize for no chairs that I should have given my chair. I would have moved in the cafeteria. I didn't know there were chairs across the hall, so I'm very sorry about that. I did not expect a crowd. The time clock started 2 months ago, and that's something that we do at Pennridge. And then there was a comment about cutting resources, so you can't do what you're doing, what they're doing properly. I haven't heard anything about that, but I will look into it. Thank you. Anything else I can answer now? The question at the beginning, why not in the cafeteria? Student presentation, we could have moved over there, I would have been fine with that. Hindsight, I will certainly make sure that that is corrected. So I hope that I answered at least a few questions. And then that way we can move on to announcements. So the next regularly scheduled JOC board meeting is for June the 20th at 7 p.m. in this room. We have an award ceremony coming up, May 21st, 2019 at 6 p.m. The senior ceremony is June the 3rd, and that is held at Pennridge, 7 p.m. Summer camps will be held June 24th through the 27th, 2019, from 8 a.m. and will be for elementary students to 3 p.m. and will be for middle school students. After that, we can move on to JOC operating concerns. This is the time that JOC members can make comments.
Okay, first of all, I asked Mrs. Dolan to read the statement at the beginning. It doesn't need to be voted on. I asked her individually to read a statement because we had a recent meeting where there was a lot of public turnout and people didn't know what the rules were, and so it kind of gets chaotic when people don't know what the rules are. So I think it's helpful to give those rules up front so that people understand the process. Because if people don't understand the process, then they don't know why you're cutting them off at a certain time or why you're not responding during the meeting. So what she read was, each person gets 3 minutes to speak. The first comment period is for agenda items, and then anything that's not an agenda item can be asked at the end of the meeting. And all questions are directed to the chair, which is her. And so at the end of the comment period, because public comment is for public comment, it's not for a back and forth. So she will take notes, and at the end of the comment period, she will respond to all of the comments. During the JOC committee concerns, that's the opportunity for people who are not chairing the committee to respond or share any thoughts they have on any topic. So that's why we don't respond. That's not the process. That's not how Robert's Rules of Order works, and that's what we follow. And so the whole point of her reading that at the beginning was just so that you all knew why she wasn't responding, why we weren't responding, and why, what the time limit was. And to your point, the timer wasn't up there before. That was just an arbitrary decision that was made so you could see it, rather than someone having to say, hey, it's up, and interrupt someone. At least then if you saw it in advance, it would be easier for you to know where you were in the time period. So, I think it would be a helpful idea to try to have a later meeting than a 4 o'clock meeting at some point to maybe discuss those things. I want to make it clear that those programs were not just arbitrarily canceled without a vote. They have not been canceled. So if if they are going to be canceled, they would have to be canceled in a public meeting. It didn't just happen without a vote. That didn't happen. Same thing with the positions. No decisions were made to eliminate any positions. Just because the positions haven't been put on the agenda or voted on yet, that doesn't mean positions have been eliminated. The administration makes recommendations and evaluates organization, and then they present it to us, and then we vote on it. So that process just never happened, and it's a shame that there's a lot of assumptions that are being made, based on things that have not been decided. The question about the website and that we could do it better here, the first comment period is a great time to ask agenda item questions, because that would have been helpful. Maybe we could have tabled it, maybe we could have had a discussion about that, but you're bringing that up at the end, and now we already voted on it. So that would have been helpful at the beginning of the meeting, because if we do have staff that can help with that process, I think that would be really helpful. We have significantly increased, all 3 sending districts have significantly increased the funding to the tech school. So we're not cutting and trying to save money. So there's some misperception here. Everyone up here is very supportive of the tech school, and we even have some people who went to the tech school and graduated from the tech school. So all the decisions that are being made are to try to do what's best for kids in the program and what's best for the school. And it may be helpful to have another session where there can be discussions about that other program, since people weren't able to make that meeting. I know 4 o'clock is a difficult time, and that may be something that, that would be helpful. Mr. Katz, how long have you been a solicitor in education?
3 or 4 years.
And so you're pretty familiar with the Sunshine Act? And were you at our executive session at the last board meeting?
I was.
So you would know if we violated any sunshine law?
I would.
Pay him.
Thank you.
You pay him.
That's all I have. Anything else, anything?
I just want to say that, I take a little umbrage with the fact that people, first of all, think we get paid, which is ridiculous. We are here voluntarily. And we listen to every single word that you say. No decision that we make is not without listening to you. I listen. I may go like this, I may write something down, but I listen to everyone. Some of you are good speakers, especially him. So let's clear that out. We're here for one reason. We're volunteering, and we're here only to make a good atmosphere for the kids in this school. And the decisions that we make have to do with your input and the input from the administration. So don't think we are not listening. That is not true.
I just also wanted to add that when people were here for the plumbing meeting, because they didn't know that we responded at the end, everyone left before we could respond, and that was another reason that I wanted her to be able to share that at the beginning, so people knew that we would be responding later, so that people knew to stay, so that you could get some responses to your answers. So it was all an attempt to be helpful, and it doesn't seem like maybe it came across as helpful, but that was the basis for trying to give you that information up front. I also want to thank everyone for coming out and sharing your concerns, because it's important to be involved in the process, and if not here and share, I mean, I don't know that, I mean, we obviously wouldn't be aware of all of these concerns if you weren't bringing them to us. And so we do appreciate it. We appreciate kids being here on a school night, late, standing up for their programs. That's really awesome to see. And I don't want you to think that it's, you know, that that we're not listening, because we are. You know, these things are important to us. It's important to us that parents are coming out and sharing your experiences, and that staff's coming out and sharing their experiences. And, you know, we will take all of this stuff into consideration and try to see how to better, you know, facilitate that communication with everyone.
Any other GOC concerns, comments? The only thing that I wanted to bring up was maybe potentially getting microphones. It's something else to consider. I'm not sure if anybody had a problem hearing us. I try and project as best I can.
Not really.
But I think that would be something to consider, getting microphones.
We had no problem hearing you, really, I think.
I do.
The guy on the
You
end.
did? We need a hearing aid.
Okay.
The camera has a hard time too.
Hearing me. I've never heard that before.
And this is most of the recordings, and yeah, they're very low.
They are, and I've watched our meetings back several times.
Watch the video. You can see that you put your hand in front of your mouth 50% of the time while you're talking.
Me?
Yes,
Me or her?
her. Only someone who's hard of hearing would recognize that. That's right. But the camera has a hard time. You can't read their lips, right? The camera has a hard time
You
too.
gotta get closer.
That's the only thing that I wanted to bring up. I know Mr. Linden's mentioned it, that sometimes you can't hear us, so I'm bringing it up now. Something to think about. Any other JOC concerns?
I have one. She said that positions weren't eliminated yet. I was the financial secretary, and I'm no longer employed, so you don't know what you're talking about.
Did you get fired?
I was let go, yes.
You worked for the technical school?
I worked as the financial secretary for an employment agency, but I was told the position was eliminated.
So you didn't work for the school?
She was temping for somebody.
She worked for a temp agency?
To replace a woman who retired. There was a position.
We can't have back and forth right now. It's inappropriate.
Yes. What do you mean, how is that inappropriate?
Okay, if there are no other GOC concerns or announcements, I'll make a motion for adjournment. Second, any comments about adjournment? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Seeing none, motion
Is the meeting closed?